Welcome into hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. I am not Kate. I am Ryan Muma, and I'm also not Penny because she's not here either. But I can say Laura's here, and the lovely Laura is here. We're going to get after it today on a fun-filled Sunday morning here on the 17th of August, which is wild to think about because school is right around the corner, and it's a good time, Laura. It's a good time. So we have a very special guest in studio. And Laura, I'm going to let you do the honors of introducing our guest, and we're going to be rolling here today.
Well, okay, can I just say that without Kate and without Penny, no offense, Ryan, but I was like, what are we going to talk about?
I don't know what we're going to do today. What are we going to say?
I called my good friend Tracy Schlepphorst, who has been with us before. I wasn't actually with you guys the last time you interviewed Tracy.
No, that is correct.
It's been a hot minute since you've been here, Tracy, but we're really excited to have you. Thank you for being on air.
Well, I'm excited to be here as well. Thank you for having me.
Tracy walked in like she knew exactly what she was doing.
That's right.
This is where I'm going to sit. You sit over there. This is my show today, and it's Tracy's time to shine, and I respect it.
Well, Tracy might have some control issues.
We don't judge at all. We're going to respect it, and I think it's going to make for a great morning.
And we don't have Penny here to unpack that. So
That's right. That's right.
It's all right. But no, and Laura obviously bringing her in to chat it up. What are we talking about today?
So the reason I called Tracy and asked for a little help for the show today, so you and I had a conversation, I think it's already been like 2 summers ago. I had never heard the catchphrase social emotional learning. And it was something, we were at this charity event and somehow we were just chatting it up and you just like threw that phrase out there like you were trying to get different people's opinion on this thing. And then you posted it on Facebook once, like what do people think about this? But this is a topic I don't know a whole lot about. I mean, I had a kiddo, with an IEP, the executive skills, the ADHD, all those kinds of things. But even in the system, the school system in that manner, I had never heard of social emotional learning. So that's basically our overall topic today. But I want to back you way up because even if this is a current catchphrase, you've been in the public school system and in the educational arena in various formats, because I want to talk about your books too, for years. So social emotional learning is actually not necessarily new, because back in the 90s, you were a special ed teacher. Yeah?
Yes, that's correct. Uh-huh.
And then also you were a school counselor.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So you've been doing this a while. So back up and just tell me about you. Tell me about Tracy.
Well, and it's funny, and I do have to say, I do remember that conversation with you as well, a couple of years ago. Yeah. And it meant a lot to me as well, because anytime that someone asks me about what I'm doing or about social emotional learning, it's just been a huge passion of mine. And having that conversation did prompt me to ask the question. Like sometimes there's things that we just do on a regular basis. It's something that's been a part of my whole entire life. I just assume everyone else is interested in it.
Isn't that the truth?
They're reading about it, that those are the podcasts that they're turning to. but it's not. I mean, some people are just watching football. I don't know.
No, that's right.
That's right. Okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not taking it all.
But yes, it's always been a passion of mine. I think it comes from, and then we can go way, way back, but I think it comes from growing up as a child who had a father that passed away very young.
Okay.
So I was 6 years old when my dad passed away. So I had needs that people weren't necessarily able to address. And for some reason...
Do you think people even knew you had needs back then? I mean, now maybe people are more aware of that.
Right. Like the awareness is there. I think back in 1971, when you had a 6-year-old that came to school after her dad's funeral, I think no one had a clue as to what to do.
Right.
No, they just, I mean, I can even remember the day, but sitting down and the teachers coming in and giving me a hug and saying they were sorry. But then past that point, they're like, ooh, we don't know what to do here. And so then that made me feel different.
I read a story about twins, actually, whose parents, parent singular, but they were already a single parent, passed away. And this story I was reading, like even individuals need different needs. So one of the twins completely needed to be just treated normal. Don't hug me. Don't act like anything's different. Just let's go. But the other side of the twin needed, just a little more emotional support. And so it's interesting. Like you said, back then they weren't even. Of course they're going to give you a hug and tell you how sorry they are. But then what?
Yeah, but then what comes next?
Yeah.
And you feel kind of different. Like you just feel different, and people treat you different. And so you're right in terms of that's really interesting to think about the two twins and the way that people need things differently when they have loss or when they have any type of tragedy or any type of problem, really, that comes up in their life. It could be any kind of illness, also being bullied. I mean, there's so many things that happen to kids, and they need the people in their lives to respond to them in a certain way. And when the people in their lives don't know how to respond, then often they'll choose just not to do anything. They just don't respond at all. And then the child is just left to their own accord. I mean, then they have to kind of figure it out. So that, in a nutshell, is what social emotional learning is, because it's like gives us a curriculum, it gives us a structure, and it tells us like here are the way that some kids can be feeling. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it has to be on a hierarchy. You also have to be able to pay attention to how what that child seems like they need, or what that person. This applies to adults as well.
Good point.
But when people say that, social emotional learning isn't needed, or it's a waste of time in the classroom, or that their kids don't need it, it always kind of frustrates me, because I'm like, one, you never know what's going to happen in your life. That's great that you guys are doing all these things at home, and you're taking care of it, and you're having good conversations. But you can't predict when somebody's going to get hit by a car.
Right.
You can't do it.
Right.
Well, and not to cut you off, but even just from the standpoint of, like your emotions themselves and just dealing with them, like how you process certain things. Like I have twin 3-year-olds, and like trying to, we've gotten to a point now where they talk a lot more, but then they still get very frustrated because they sometimes can't find the words because of a situation. So you're like, okay, well, why are you upset? Like, okay, let's take a breath. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And we're trying to kind of figure that out from a parent standpoint. And I have to imagine this is kind of similar to what you're talking about, just trying to figure out and manage the emotional aspect of what you're feeling and how you're processing it and what you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you say that you're asking them why. Like, why are you? And that's like kind of a big catchphrase as well, is like, name it to tame it.
Yep.
Like if you can name it, if you can tell me what it is that you're feeling or thinking about right now, then we can come up with a plan. It's when you're going, blah, 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 I have no idea. But let's name it. Let's put a label on it. Let's say something about it, and then we can come up with a plan. So yes, I love that.
Not even like being sad or whatever, but like when they want something too. Like they will get frustrated because they're just like, I want this, but they're not saying that. They're just whining, and because when they were little, that's what they would do, and we as parents would figure it out. Where now it's like, well, no, the words, like, and we'll tell them, use your words. What words are you using?
I remember.
So
use your words.
Oh my gosh! And then all of a sudden they still get frustrated because, again, in their little minds, they're like, no, like, just figure it out. And then once they use their word, it's like, okay, boom, yeah, I can help you do that. And now we've noticed, and still you have the ups and downs, ebbs and flows. Welcome to parenting. But they're, more times than not, they will use their words now, and they've recognized that, like, they get whatever they need a lot faster, if that is the case, because they have learned how to deal with the emotion of, okay, I really need this, but if I calm down for a second and I explain it, then I can get it.
I would think, and I don't know, this is just me surmising because I have zero expertise in this. But I would think that after a trauma of some sort, and I've also learned that there's little traumas and big trauma. I've learned a little bit about this, a little, just enough to be dangerous. But I would think that it would be very difficult to name it to tame it. Like you wouldn't know what you need. So does some of the training under the umbrella of SEL, social emotional learning, does some of the training just help teachers help these kids by just helping them figure it out?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. And again, there's not, like I say, name it to tame it, and then that sounds like it's going to come easy.
Right. Okay, good point.
But it doesn't come easy, but when you can get to that point, and also practicing that, like just hearing, like if you've never heard that term before, and then you think, wow, I'm working with these 3-year-olds, and how can I get them to learn to put a label on it? How can I get them to learn to name it? The practice, like the more they do it, the more they know, oh, when I have a big problem, I need to be able to name it so that we can get this sorted. So that kind of becomes the way that you do it. Or not. I mean, that's just one idea and one concept. But yes, it could be hard. But just imagine now that I've said that to you, tomorrow you might wake up and be like, man, what is wrong with me today? I feel like I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Yeah. What's going on? And sometimes you have those days and then you find yourself fighting with your husband and honking at people in traffic. And you're like, what is wrong with me? But if you take just that 1 minute you need, because sometimes we just push right through those times. If you just took that 1 minute you need, pull your car over to the side of the road and be like, Laura, what? Okay, what?
Uh-huh.
What is it? Am I tired? Oh, I really didn't sleep that great last night. Am I this? What am I worried about? Just take a minute and be like, what is it that's piling up on top of me that's making me react this way today? As soon as you can do it, you can grant yourself a little bit of grace, right? Because you can go, oh man, that really was a terrible thing that blah, 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 whatever it is, and then you get a grip on it and then it gives you a little bit of control.
I am so glad you just went there
Yeah.
because this applies to everyone in every situation.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good point.
I mean, we're not talking about a teaching technique. We are talking about
a life skill.
Yes.
We're talking about a life skill.
Yes.
It's life skills.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely.
No, I love it, and I think that and we got 2 more segments. We'll take our first quick time out because Tracy just flew through it all. She knows what she's doing. She's taking over the radio show today.
There we go.
But no, I think there is a plethora more that we will get into, and we'll do that, of course, on the other side. Again, this is Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag Everything. Ryan Muma here with you, Laura as well.
The lovely
Kate.
Laura.
Come
on,
Ryan. I'm sorry. Not as good as Kate. It's fine. We can't all be.
And you know what else we didn't do?
What did we not do?
We didn't do jazz hands.
We're Hashtag Everyone, talking about Hashtag.
Yeah.
But
Tracy
the lovely
even joined
Laura
in. Thank you, Tracy.
is here. Yes, Tracy, as well as our special guest today. We're talking about, of course, social emotional learning. We got into a plethora of things in the last segment, which was all just very, in my opinion, vital information and just different things that you can kind of approach with this whole thing. But you obviously, Laura, we want to spin it in a different direction or kind of go back to something.
Well, I think we just want to back up a second because, and I'm actually pretty good about, I always say that to Kate. Now, wait, back up.
Back it up.
Okay, so we kind of gave a 10,000-foot view, like just we were a little bit all over the place, but really important stuff. We're talking about a life skill, and I'm so glad we ended the first segment on that because to me that was an aha moment. But when I say we're talking about a life skill that we can help our children develop so that they know how to handle their emotions, so that we can handle our own bad days and pull over and figure out what is wrong with me so I don't act like this all day. Or maybe I do, but I give myself a little grace. But when we say social emotional learning, is there a definition? Is there can we just dumb it down a little or give me some words to go with that?
Yes, absolutely. And I always tell people there's a great there's CASEL, which is the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. You can go to CASEL.com, CASEL.org. It'll give you great definitions and a great framework. That's the framework for socially and emotional learning. So what the 5 competencies that they've broken down social emotional learning into is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. So that is the segue into everything social and emotional learning. And sometimes when people will say to me, again, that they think that it's just a waste of time. It's a waste of time in the schools, that schools need to be teaching kids about math, reading, and, all the core subjects. Yes, they do. But you can't get to the core subjects when you have kids that are deficient in any of those areas to a
Can you say them again?
big extent.
Let's go one at a time.
Yes. Self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. And I think if teachers in schools can stick to those 5 competencies, can keep those in mind on a daily basis, as well as parents keep that in mind. I mean, if everybody was making responsible decisions, think what the world would be.
Good point. It's a very good point. No, and I think there's clearly there's a lot to unpack there, but I think I have to imagine this, and I wanted to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, Laura, that and you've said it too, like you've heard from parents, like, we don't need this, blah, blah, blah. Has it gotten, for lack of a better way of saying, has it gotten better from the standpoint of people being more open-minded to stuff like this? Because I'm 29 years old, my wife's 30, we're part of that, younger generation that's now having kids and kind of going through that stuff. I feel like my generation is a little bit more open to more stuff like this. I could be wrong. Again, I'm just looking at my household because me and my wife are. Have you noticed maybe a little bit more of an open-mindedness to the social emotional learning or similar things to what you're talking about?
Yes, I think that we're getting there.
Sure.
And I think getting people, again, to wrap their brain around what it really is, because, people, there's a certain amount of fear in it too, because people are like, "Whoa, how you're teaching my kids how to feel, like how to think about really diverse things." It's like, no, that's not necessarily what it is. It's teaching them how to cope with the things that happen in their life and as things come along. But it's not telling them how to think about it. It's just teaching them to be able to cope with things as they happen.
Well, let me ask you this, because why, and I know this is a very broad paintbrush, but why is that seriously so important? Because I have parents who are in their 50s. I know people obviously that are older or right around there, and there's always this whole thing around you just
pick yourself up by the
buckle it
bootstraps
up and let's go. Like, we don't need this emotion. And I will say there are moments where I agree with that. There are moments
because
for that.
I think we have a problem in our society right now with some victimhood.
Sure.
So there
Yes.
is a piece that you do have to push through and get yourself to there and not just be the victim.
And I think that's,
But if you had the skills to do it, how fabulous would that be?
Yes.
and that's the whole thing. Yes, I'm with you. Again, there are in circumstantial is the big thing I have to imagine with a lot of this. But again, buckle up the chin strap and let's go kind of thing to bring the football back into it. But the whole idea of feeling your emotions or allowing your emotions to play a part, I guess is the way to say it, feels to me more of a new school kind of way of approaching, which, again, I'm all on board with. But again, why is it so important for the emotional side? Why is that something that is so important to how we need to operate? And again, to what Laura said, I know I keep kind of just adding on here.
Yeah.
To what Laura said, yeah, you want to buckle up the chin strap and go, but there's also an emotional feeling there that maybe we're already doing self-consciously and not really admitting it, that we're recognizing.
Well, the other
what we're
thing
going
Ryan just
through.
said, I will let Tracy answer.
Yeah, I know.
I know, I'm
keep
like-
adding
But
more.
the
I'm sorry.
other thing Ryan
I
just said
apologize.
was it's kind of new. But before we got on air,
Yeah.
I discovered it's really not new. It just had a different name.
Right. Absolutely.
Tracy, you may
So-
now answer, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can talk now.
right, that's
Is it
your
okay?
turn, yeah.
Is it okay? No, I mean, there have been school counselors. There have been people that have been helpful in school systems for years.
Yeah.
And yes, even back in the 90s, like I said, the big catchphrase back then was self-esteem. Like, we started working on kids' self-esteem. I went in and had programs that I would do in classrooms specifically on self-esteem. So at the end of the day, what do we want? We want the kids to feel like they to feel good about themselves, right? Because if you don't feel good about yourself, then you're going to make a whole lot of other bad decisions. And I kind of want to go back to the victimhood thing too, as well as pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. So what is that though? If you pull yourself up by your bootstraps, I think now what we've kind of added to that is like you'll hear people talk a lot about boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, what is it okay to accept? So victimhood, someone does something bad to you. And I think probably back when you were in school, bullies kind of started to be recognized even more.
A little bit more, yeah.
Right?
Absolutely, yes.
They had been a part of schools forever. I mean, Little House on the Prairie, look at Nellie.
There you go.
She's bullying everybody all
Right.
the time. And they just were, are you supposed to take it? Like, there's always going to be people that bully you. There's always going to be people that are rude to you. There's always going to be people that do it. So what it's about is how you respond to that. It's teaching you how to respond in a positive way and understand not everyone has these skills. Not everyone cares about these skills. But you have the right to set boundaries against the way that people are going to treat you. And people are going to treat you the way that you allow them to treat you.
Oh, that's so true.
That's a big piece of it as well.
That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, if you push me down at recess, what am I supposed to do? If I go to the teacher, I'm a tattletale.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a thing.
Right.
And if I cry, then I'm a baby. If I punch you, then I have
Then
a
you're the
problem.
one in trouble,
Then
yeah.
I'm the one with a problem. I mean, what are you supposed to do when someone pushes you down?
That's a good point.
What is your choice?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that is where the plan of social emotional learning comes into play, is like, what is the plan? How do we manage these behaviors? There's always going to be kids that push other kids down. And then
Figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Oh, it goes into adulthood.
Yeah.
People are still pushing
Yeah.
me over every day.
Right. No, seriously.
I mean, really, right. Absolutely. So, but the way you respond is so important. And you will be judged on the way you respond. And sometimes you're ostracized even more just for standing up for yourself.
Right.
I mean, it's an interesting thing.
To piggyback off of that, and what are some of like the common like misunderstandings with, social emotional learning with what you're saying?
And with people saying we don't need this,
don't
whatever,
need-
because
yeah.
they don't quite understand
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many misunderstandings around it. I think that the biggest part is that I heard someone say to me one time, like, I think we're getting in so much trouble by, making kids think about their feelings too much. So, but it's like, okay, no, kids have always been feeling their feelings. Now we've taught them to verbalize them. But people don't, then the adults don't know what to do with it when it's coming out, like it's coming out. Well, so someone pushes you down, you have a feeling about it. But now you have a right to say, I don't like it when you push me down.
Yeah.
It makes me feel mad. It makes me feel sad. But it was interesting to me when they're like, oh, I think we make kids think about our feelings too much. That's a negative that I've heard. I'm like, they're feeling it, either feeling it and internalizing it and pushing it down on the inside, or they're saying it out loud, which is so much healthier.
Yeah.
Get it
100%,
out.
Don't bottle it up.
Don't
Yeah.
bottle it up.
You bottle up, it's going to get worse later on.
Yeah, and that is, I think and that's a whole other conversation, you bring me back another time, but you go through generationally, the people that had to pull themselves up by the bootstraps, the people that just had to move forward, there's we learned a lot about what that does to your body.
Right.
Like internally, when you hold on to that stress and you're not able to release it in a positive way, and then that's, they claim that even cancers and things like that are caused by people holding too much stress on the inside. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot more to unpack with it. We're up against it for this segment, but we'll come back. Do you want to talk about her book, because I keep looking at the book.
I know. Yeah. we got to go there.
I
We'll
need
do a
to
couple
do it,
things.
yeah.
I don't know what we'll do.
We'll do. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
All right.
Tracy, Laura, appreciate you as always. We'll take a quick time out. This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. We'll be right back. We are back here on hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. That's right, there it is. Ryan Mooma here with you. Kate gone, Penny gone, but the lovely Laura is
I don't even know.
here.
Are you taping, like videotaping today?
We are, yes.
Oh,
I'm on video?
That's right, yeah. Cameras
no.
up there, hello. We have hidden cameras. Hidden cameras.
You guys
that's
gotta
right.
tell me these things before we get
You
started.
feel you were more loose. You just let it ride,
I was
you
more
know?
loose. I might have. Never mind.
when
That's
we did the
okay.
jazz hands, I thought, well, wait a minute. Do we only video when Kate's here? Apparently
No,
not.
no.
Apparently we video every
It's
time.
every time, Laura. That's the big time stuff. And we have the terrific Tracy as well joining us and obviously breaking down a lot
Okay,
of
I'm going to say
things.
Tracy's last name, but
Yeah.
I also, because I was thinking if someone wants to Google your, or like buy your books online, but it may be easier to buy your books online without your last name.
That's probably true. That is.
I was like, wait, I want to say your last name. And then I'm like, wait, maybe we should just.
you might be onto something there.
So
point.
look up Emotion
Belly
Belly.
Books.
Okay.
Mhm. There's a
Emotion-
website, emotionbellybooks.com.
Okay.
But then if you did go to Amazon, you can buy all my books on Amazon. It's easier to put Tracy Schlepphorst on Amazon, and then all the books that I write will pop up.
Okay.
Sometimes I put an individual book, and I'm such a peon that it may not even pop up. Or
Gotcha.
the 10 top books that have a similar name will pop up for you. But
Gotcha. Well, I think the best place to go is emotionbellybooks.
Yes,
.com.
emotionbellybooks.com. Yes.
Okay.
And it's on my list of things, my short list of things to get my website updated just a little bit. But I'm working on it.
All
You're
right.
getting there.
Yeah, I'm getting
Getting
there.
there.
I'm getting there.
Give yourself some grace.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
You're a busy lady.
There you
How much time do you spend in schools with the books?
It's funny. I've been thinking about that. I've been doing this for 10 years now.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? And it waxes and wanes. Like fall's usually kind of busy, and I always tell teachers, get me in the fall because we can set the foundation. We can utilize some of the things from Emotion Belly books as a vocabulary you can use with your kids.
Is there a grade level target?
Pretty much I do kindergarten to third grade is probably the big one. I do preschool and I do older kids as well. But my jam is between kindergarten and third grade.
So if
for
you're a
the most
teacher
part.
out there listening, and I know we have a lot of them that listen to the show
absolutely.
regularly. Yeah. be
Yeah,
sure
and get it on the list. I mean, I think sometimes people are afraid to reach out to me for various reasons, but I love being in the classroom. First and foremost, is why I do it. I'm a teacher. My heart is a teacher. My heart is a counselor. I love being in front of the kids. I love the questions. I love encouraging them to write themselves and to just think about life a little bit differently from my visits. And of course, we have to mention that Ripley, my dog, comes along
That's
with me
right.
on the visits. And so kids having, and occasionally I've had teachers say, when I was at school, we had an author come that had a dog, and I'll never forget it. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
love that because
Yeah.
Ripley just adds this whole other element to the visits.
kind of
And
dog is it?
it's fantastic. She's a golden doodle.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's
big
awesome.
75-pound golden
I love
doodle.
that.
But she'll walk through a crowd of preschoolers and kindergartners like just a gentle giant. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
No, it's
Yeah.
awesome. And again, the books are really cool. And so we wanted to
So
kind of
10
deep
years
dive
ago,
into that, yeah.
you dove into this whole author thing.
Yes.
And tell us just a shortened version of your journey.
Yes,
With
and-
Eden.
well,
We haven't
and
even said Eden's name yet. With Eden.
And this, it's kind of funny because Penny Ibbenson is actually involved in this story in,
Oh,
in
really?
kind of a
Oh, that's fun.
strange way. So I was at a point where my kids were getting older. I was thinking about going back. I had sat for my boards even to do private practice at one point in time, a long, long time ago, and just kind of let all that lapse. And I was talking to Penny about I don't know, maybe I should get my license renewed. And I'm just like, where do I need to be? I was at a place where I was really trying to figure out. And I went to a workshop that day, and I was thinking about what my next steps are. Yeah. And that afternoon, I got the phone call that my brother had died by suicide.
Oh, wow.
And it pulled the rug right out from underneath me and changed the trajectory of everything that I was doing. Because here I am, a person with counseling skills, it's my brother. There were things that I had observed, but no matter what, nothing can prepare you for that moment. That was one of the worst, darkest times of my whole entire life. So I started kind of from the bottom, and I'm like, okay, I got to pull myself out of this. So I've got 3 kids, I've got a husband, I've got family. What do we do? What would Scott want me to do? But what would I do? And I came up with this whole concept of like, I'm never going to feel happiness the way that I felt it before. And I'm like, there's something to that. Like, where did my happy go? Like, where is it? Like, those thoughts are like in my head. And so I'm like, it's there. It's just buried underneath all these other emotions. And that is how my first children's book, Eden and Her Happy, was born. Because I got up in the middle of the night and I drew a character, and it had a little bitty teeny tiny sliver of yellow happiness, and all these anger and sadness and confusion just piled up on top of it. And I'm like, it's like a cell phone, how we send emojis. I really didn't know what it was yet. And then it just started taking life, and I was reading about, people that go through hard things and how they get back to a normal life in some way. And I'm like, because you feel like your life's just never going to be the same again. So that is how Eden was born. And it allowed me to read about emotions, to learn about emotions, to think about happiness, to think about, but how important your sadness as well, to think about not just sweeping everything under the rug, but actually allowing yourself to experience it. And so that is what Eden and Her Happy, the whole purpose of that book is to let kids, and actually it works for adults as well, to understand that your happy never leaves you. It just gets buried under your other emotions. Give it a minute. Feel those other emotions, and so then I started going into schools and talking about happiness, and every time I leave a classroom, even now I have 6 other books, but every time I leave a classroom, it's like, can your happy ever leave you? And after reading the book, the kids will be like, well, yeah, I can. And I'm like, but will it always come back? Will it always come back? And yes, like your happy will always come back. So my hope is that because they will, I figure every time I go into a classroom of 30 kids, there's statistically would tell you there's a fairly large percentage of them that will think about suicide, probably sometime starting in their 20s. It will happen. Yeah. So my hope is that when they're standing on that ledge someday or feeling like it's all completely hopeless, maybe they'll remember that author that came and said, hang on a minute. Your happy's not gone. It's just buried under your other emotions. Yeah. Give it a minute. Sit on it for a minute. Your happy will come back. So that is the premise of everything that I do with the Emotion Belly books.
So with that in mind too, and again, you did your first book. You said 6. Now kind of take us through like an overview of like what the books kind of illustrate, if you will.
Yeah. So, I thought I was going to be one and done. Eden and Her Happy, I'm going to get discovered. We're going to go. And then I'm like, ooh, wah, wah, wah. It's really hard as a self-published author.
Well, also, maybe Eden just had more to say.
Yeah. That's right. Amen to that.
So the next book, interestingly, is Henry and His Manners. And I will say as a side note, Eden is my middle name. So for all practical purposes, I'm Eden. And then I was teaching a manners class through the Medical Alliance in the public schools. And I'm like, there's not like a great book that I want to present when I'm teaching these classes. So I wrote a book about manners. Well, it's Henry and His Manners, and Henry is my husband's middle name.
That is great.
He's like, hang on a minute here.
Was Ripley in the book from the beginning?
No, okay. She's not. So I didn't even have Ripley yet. Ripley didn't come on board until 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't even. I had a vision. That's a great question. So then the third book is Eden and Her Joy. So, that's another piece of we'll just save that. But I went through another very difficult time. I had 2 sisters that were diagnosed with cancer and passed away 3 weeks apart. So I have all this loss in my life, and I'm like, why? I got to do something with that as well. There's a lot of kids that experience loss. So Eden and Her Joy was written during the time that my sisters were battling at the end of their lives. And that is just a story about, for kids that have experienced loss, but it's, how people go to the land beyond the clouds for anyone who doesn't. I mean, it can be religious. It can also be the land beyond the clouds, but it's believing, it's placing that hope that the people we love will always be with us and are always watching over us. That was kind of the premise of my third book, Eden and Her Joy. And that book, I have to say, I don't teach it in classrooms a lot for a lot of reasons. However, when there have been big losses or the loss of a child, which we have had in the schools a few times, unfortunately, I will get called to do that book. But people call me when, and this is what I wanted, like when someone dies, a parent dies, you don't know what to do. It goes back to me being the 6-year-old, and the adults don't know what to do. So it's a gift that you can give, and I've got a little stuffed plush of Ripley now. So I actually just gave it to someone yesterday. Yeah. So
awesome.
So kids can find relatability. That is that whole thing I talked about. I think that you feel so alone because especially if you don't know anyone else that's lost a parent or lost anyone that they love. Fortunately, for a lot of people, they don't even go to a funeral until they're older. It just depends what your life journey is. So that's the third book. Then the fourth book, and at the third book, a good friend of mine had a golden doodle. And so I'm like, man, I was starting to have that thought of having a golden doodle. So there is a golden doodle in Eden and Her Joy, but it's my friend's dog, Birdie. It's not my dog, but Birdie looks exactly like Ripley if you saw him in pictures. So then Ripley came on board, and we did Ripley Wonders About Books. And so it's just the way that books can help you, because that's what I want my books to do. Yeah. So Ripley Wonders About Books was kind of Ripley's segue and entrance into it all. And then I have Ripley Goes to School, because that's what she does. And that brings in a lot of how dogs express emotions. Do dogs have emotions? Yeah. It gets kids thinking about emotions a little bit differently that way. And how do dogs show it, which is super fun. I have Ripley trained to do a few things like, okay, how do you know when Ripley's happy? That's an easy one. She can wag her tail. Yeah. How do you know when she's sad? And I'll try to get her to kind of hang her head or put her head down. The kids always think it's great. She really doesn't do that much on command, but the kids love it when she doesn't listen to me. She'll just start twirling in circles because she wants extra treats, and the kids are like, oh, this is fantastic. So anyway, it's a great way to talk about our nonverbals of emotions as well. And then I did a remake, and sometimes I'm not sure if it was the right move or not, but it is. But I did a remake from Eden and Her Happy to My Emotional Belly, and kind of updated the characters. And that might be why, because if you read my books, you could get a little confused if you read them in order, because then Ripley and Manners, any characters that have happened in the book before, I add them into the next one. Mm-hmm. So even Eden was in Henry's book as a friend, and then they pop up different places. Because I like the kids when they're up, and I usually have it up on the big screen in the classroom, and they'll be like, wait, there's Eden. Wait, there's Ripley. Oh, I see Mr. Manners. Because there's a little Mr. Manners guy. So anyway, it's been great fun. How much time do I spend in the classrooms? I think was the original question.
Oh, no. It's okay. This is awesome. This is awesome. I don't think I've ever heard the whole. I think I just knew like 3 of them. I didn't know the whole.
Yeah. Oh, no, they just keep on coming. But I love being in the classroom as much as teachers will let me be in the classroom.
Right.
My schedule with their schedule. And yes, if you're a teacher listening right now, give me a call, text me, just reach out to me, and get your classroom on the books early, because that really helps me a lot.
I think what's really cool, and we'll wrap it up with this, I think what's really cool about each one of the stories that you gave is again, it's a personal touch to it. Yes. You know what I mean? It isn't just... And this isn't nothing against other children's books or whatever. It's not just slapped together. You know, here's a children's book. This has some sort of emotional tie to something that you have gone through. And I think that's what makes it, I have to imagine, great for you, because there's the relatability standpoint of when you're talking to these children, like, hey, I'm not just here to tell you about this. I'm here to tell you that I've gone through it. Yes. You might not say that, but again, I have to imagine the relatability.
Yes. And you want to see, even for me, in those times where I experienced hard things, to meet someone who had had a sibling that passed away, had a parent that passed away, whatever it is that you're going through, it's great to see people on the other side.
No doubt.
You know?
a
And
great
this
point.
writing that I do is what saved me. I say Eden and Her Happy saved me, you know? I mean, it in so many different ways. It gave me a purpose. It gave me a purpose to the pain. And that's what I want to teach kids to do, because they're going to have pain. So if you have pain, have purpose.
Before we let you go, one more time, the website they can go find all these books and everything like that.
Yes, emotionbellybooks.com.
Easy enough.
Oh, and I'm all over social media,
There you
like
go.
Facebook, and Doodle.Wonder is very entertaining on Instagram.
I love it. Tracy, you are a wealth of knowledge, and we seriously appreciate you, coming in and breaking it down with us today, and having us kind of learn a little bit more about social emotional learning. And I know it won't be the last time we definitely have you in. So thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you for having me.
No doubt. That is #everyone.
Talking about hashtag everything.
You guys have a great rest of your Sunday.